drama surrounding the philosophy world is crazy. Or was, like 400 years ago. Why am I doing this? I'd like to introduce you to this man, Anselm. I, just like you, have absolutely no idea where the rest of his name has gone. Anselm is his full name. He was an Italian monk who worked as the Archbishop of Canterbury during the time of the investiture controversy, where the church, the entire church, got cancelled by the whole continent of medieval Europe. The church, however, is still going strong. Dr. Disrespect, there is still hope for you, bro. Lock in. Anselm later got exiled from England, once by William II and once by Henry I. He then spent those years basically going on these crazy side quests. In my opinion, the most interesting thing he did was invent the ontological argument for the existence of God. Please imagine that was a heavenly choir. To try and prove God's existence, Anselm used something that was a new invention at the time: logic and reasoning. The fact that he spent his time doing this and not literally anything else clearly shows that he was a very early member of the unemployed community. Anselm, you are a hero to us all. For the ontological argument to work, you have to accept that God is the perfect entity. If you don't accept it, well, now you do, because it kind of falls apart if you don't. The argument goes, if you think of the best thing ever in your mind, then make it exist in reality, does that not now make it better because it exists? Then surely God must exist because he is the best thing ever. Oh, but shh. We're going to be nice to Anselm and humour his argument, okay? Then steps in our latest player, legendary philosopher René Descartes. He is considered to be the founding father of modern philosophy. He was also French. From now on, we will ignore this fact for the sake of our health and my dignity. Descartes was most famous for saying, "I think, therefore I am." This basically means if you can have thoughts, then you must be aware of your own existence because you can think about it, and therefore you must exist. I'm calling bullshit on this claim, because I can think, because I'm doing it right now, but I don't actually exist. I'm actually just a figment of your imagination. Descartes was actually a fan of Anselm, so he thought it'd help him out by adding a bit to the ontological argument. He tried to point out that God's existence is necessary, and that God must exist because he himself made existence. New challenge for the Hi There viewers? Do a shot every time I say the word exist or existence in this video. Descartes' addition to the argument meant so little that it was completely ignored by everyone, including Anselm. Please pay absolutely zero attention to how this is because Anselm died about 400 years before Descartes was even born. You realising that would mess up my nice story. Then, an actual contemporary of Anselm's finally came in. This man, Gaunilo of Marmoutiers. He was also a French person. Fuck my life, it looks like I'm a fan, bro. His only published work was called On Behalf of the Fool. After he released that, he pretty much disappeared. For interesting people, this is like if Kendrick dropped Euphoria, then vanished off the face of the earth. In his book, Gaunilo asked whether if he thought about an island that is completely perfect in all the ways that he wants, it would suddenly exist because he thought of it as perfect. This obviously wouldn't happen, much to the disappointment of Mr. Orange. This was, you would think, a career-ending blow to our homeboy Anselm. But oh no. He countered with the point that islands require the water around them to exist, whereas God just kind of exists by himself. A bit of a desperate one there, Anselm, but it did seem to satisfy the philosophy community for quite a while. Until along came Immanuel Kant. He didn't agree that God's existence was actually necessary in order to describe him. If you were to describe a cat, or perhaps a skibbity toilet, describing it as having existence doesn't actually add anything to it. Kant personally used the example of 100 thalers because he clearly really wanted to make it relevant and understandable to people outside of the 18th century. Pretty much, if existence was necessary to describe something, that thing would change theoretically when you described it as existing, which it doesn't. Also, shut up, yeah, I did have to read the script for that one. It's different. This is difficult, okay? To wrap it up, Kant's argument is pretty much that if God exists, then he definitely exists. But because he doesn't exist, he doesn't exist. It sounds low-key dumb when you put it like that, actually. All of this is what I would describe as nerd shit, but we're keeping going anyway. Ooh, reading the script next, it says, after this, it all once again. Wow, am I glad I wrote that. Oh, my cat has just walked in the room. Want to say something to the camera, to the people? The answer was no. We shall move on. Norman Malcolm, like a Hi There video in your YouTube recommended, then turned up and completely ruined the vibe. His argument was that while Kant is technically correct, his argument only really applies to boring, non-God stuff. God, according to him, doesn't apply to any of these rules because he is necessary for all of the universe's existence. Sorry, did Rene Descartes just walk in the room? Because I swear that was literally his argument. So, that's kind of where it ends. Still, the world is not yet closer to figuring out whether or not God exists using logic and reasoning. So, what's the point? All these people came up with all these different arguments expressing their viewpoint, but the real question, I think, is who cares? None of this actually means anything. It's all made up. That's literally all philosophy is. It's just making shit up for the purpose of disagreeing with other people who've also just made shit up. On that revelation, I bet you were just so glad to have clicked on and sat through this entire video of apparently completely made up information. Thank you for watching. Subscribe!